Hey there, I'm Bree Stockwell, and this is The Complete Creative, the podcast for passionate creatives and visionaries who want it all: meaningful work, epic ideas, and a beautiful life. Around here, we ditch the hustle, get intentional, and make space for success that actually feels good. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're watching a clip of this, I'm still in New Mexico visiting friends. Gosh, this is such a fun life. I like it so much. I mean, I like having a home base, but the idea of traveling around and seeing new things and having new adventures is awesome. And also, even without selling our house, we still get to do that. So grateful to friends who let us come hang out with them. I was on a walk yesterday and was chatting with my friend. So I've been in New Mexico now where my friends live so many times. I have friends here. So so this isn't the friend I'm staying with. This is a friend that is a friend of hers that is now my friend. So she and I went on a walk together. That's how I roll, y'all. Okay, so we were on a walk together and we were talking about all of these different ideas. And I was explaining to her what a manifesting generator is. If you don't know your human design, go check it out. I'll put a link in the notes. I'm not going to talk about human design today, but I'm going to put a link in there. So if you're curious about your own human design, you can check that out. And a little pro tip: so you're going to need your birth date and time and location. And then you plug that in, you can get a free profile. So that's the link that I'll put in there. And if you use AI in any way, you can put your profile into ChatGPT and have conversations with it. Like, I'm a manifesting generator. What does that mean? Like, or give me an overview of this. Anyway, it's just a fun tool to help understand yourself a little bit better. So I'm a manifesting generator according to my human design. That means I have all of the ideas and I execute on them. And it means more than that. But it usually means that I want to have my hands in all the things. And so without looking at my friend's profile, I knew that was her too. It totally is. I don't even have to look her up. But we were talking about all our ideas and like, what do we do with them? So I've done a podcast about ideas and what happens when we have all the ideas. And today I wanted to talk very specifically about what happens when we have ideas and we want to monetize it. We're like, oh, we could make money with that. So if you are the kind of creative who dreams in projects and always wakes up with new ideas or takes a walk and has new ideas drop in, and you also feel some low key pressure to make every one of them mean something or earn something, this episode is for you. So, why I'm thinking about this is because many of my ideas, I'm like, oh, I could use that in my business as a new offer or whatever. And for sure, this is the era that I'm in right now. I'm really enjoying working in my business, creating in my business, creating offers in my business for you and your growth. And that is really fun for me. And so I'm really paying attention to when an idea comes to me and noticing how exciting it feels, and then asking myself if I want to monetize it. So I want to illustrate this with an example from my husband. And my husband, in human design, he's a generator. So he like generates all the ideas. For sure, this is totally him. I think almost daily, he's like, I had an idea. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, great. Tell me, tell me what your idea is. And then almost always he tells me about his idea and he's like, and I was thinking that I could do this with it and it would cost this, or I would charge this. And it's so interesting that his brain is generating ideas to create money in the world and to contribute and have that monetary exchange. But I think as creatives, we just have ideas that come to us just for fun, and they don't always have to be monetized. And I want to talk more about what that looks like or how you can recognize that in the future. So, today, I want to flip the script on productivity culture because I think this is part the idea generation and needing ideas to make money or do something is part of the like hustle and productivity culture. And I want to talk more about reclaiming creative freedom by not turning every idea you have into a business plan. Here's the thing that I know about creative brains or visionary minds is that we see potential everywhere. When we are ready and open, we literally can see ideas and potential in anything, in anywhere. It doesn't have to be like art or creative work. It could just literally be anywhere. Our brains are always working and creating new things and letting fun new ideas or combinations come to the surface. And this is so cool because it's a superpower. And it's a superpower until it takes over and kind of becomes a trap. So at that time, we're linking value, the value of the idea, to the output of what it has to create in the world or what it has to bring in. Or if I can say the transactional nature of exchanging an idea for money or something else. Like we confuse purpose with profitability. And I believe this comes from what we're taught. You know, you go to school all your life, and maybe you went to university. I did, and you learned something, or you have an idea that you trade it in a job, right? Like you have ideas, and people hire you, and or you write a book or you do some writing and you submit it to a publication and that gets published and they send you money, or you make art and a collector purchases it, you know, things like that. Like we are taught to do that. And for sure, that is the business. Like that is how we create money in our creative businesses. However, always thinking this way keeps us in the space where we are conditioned to prove our worth, to prove like, this is my value through the results that we put out into the world. So if we're not building a business, it feels, or bringing in cash from it, it can feel like we're wasting something: time, energy, materials, resources, whatever. Like it's wasted if it doesn't bring something in. And this is a habituated pressure. Whether or not it comes from externally, ultimately, if it does feel, if you're like, yeah, but like I feel pressured to create or I feel pressured to make money from what I create, then as soon as we are thinking that, the external pressure has become internalized and now it is yours. I'm pretty sure I've said this before. Anything that comes from externally, if we decide to accept it, it then becomes ours. So the external pressure is now internal and it ultimately becomes self-created. And the good news is that you can opt out of that. Like we can all opt out of that pressured feeling to, in this instance, make our ideas or make anything that we create make money. And I just kind of want to sit with that for just a minute because so often we're like, but if it's not for making money, what is it for? And you can answer that question. Like, could it be for? Could it just be for fun? Could it be for the sake of experimentation? This does not mean that you shouldn't want to make money at any time from anything that you create. You absolutely can. And I'm even going to say, and I don't use the word should, but you should. Because money is what helps your security. Money is what helps you eat food, be comfortable, and be safe. And so at some point, you want to bring money in because that allows you to create more. I love thinking about the exchange of like creative work or ideas that we've executed on. I love to think about the exchange of those for actual cash as like something really beautiful versus just a transaction. Sure, it can be transactional, but also you're putting beautiful things out into the world. It's something that someone wants. And I think that's really cool. So, like, don't feel bad if that's what you want from it. I'm creating this specific episode is about not needing to make every single idea turn into money. Okay, so if you're feeling overwhelmed, like, I want so many of my ideas to turn into money, like all of them, what can you do? Well, I think at this point, it's time to recalibrate, to know when you want to monetize an idea and when you want to execute on it and just let it be. And maybe no one even sees it, right? So, this is a little mini guide for you because I love talking about the practical how to's of what to do. So if you're ready to recalibrate, here we go. Number one, you want to notice the impulse. So when a new idea pops in into your mind, you know when that happens, it feels like a light bulb. Bing. I have it all the time. What happens to me is I like get the idea and I'm like, yes, let's go. And then I start riding this emotional wave, which is also part of my human design that like I tend to like want to act on these emotions and I am actually meant to like ride the wave of emotions before acting on them. So this is a strategy for me. When I get an idea and I notice the impulse, the light bulb. If you immediately think, "Oh, what could this become?" You may want to pause. And then you want to ask yourself a different question. So the key here is in noticing it, like catching the idea, like the impulse, noticing it, and then really tuning in to the question you're asking yourself. Like, "Ooh, what could I turn this into?" Could then be transformed into, "Why is this idea here?" And or is this idea here to be shared, explored, like personally on a personal level, or monetized? Why is this idea coming to me? You may want to just consider each option, or you can think of your own options. I just gave three because I like the number three. Is it something that you're just meant to create and share? Is it just something that you're meant to explore on your own? Because I think if you've been working as a creative for a long time or like even a short time, then you know that some ideas just come and you're meant to just try stuff out so that in the future you can use it. I think that's a tool. Or is it meant to be monetized? Is it ready? Like, is it a culmination of previous ideas that are ready to go out into the world to be traded for cash? So you can ask yourself that question. Is this idea here to be shared, explored, or monetized? Which one is it? And then let it sit. I just want you to think about it and let the idea sit with you for a little bit. Like if you feel directly pulled to act on it right away, turning the tables on this habit is a great idea. So you want to just let this idea sit with you longer than you normally would. It might feel uncomfortable. It probably will. I know it has for me. So when the new idea comes in, I ride the wave a little longer and I just let it. And you know what? Actually, here's what I do. I go down the rabbit hole of exploring it before actually doing a lot of acting on it. Or I act on it, but I allow the excitement of wanting to monetize it sit longer. That's kind of a nuanced practice, but it's still possible to act on it and have that question, will I want to monetize it? I'll see. But so often I'm like, okay, maybe I will take a little bit of time and I will decide how long because I love being intentional. So I'll decide how long that is. And then at some point after that time limit is up, I will pause and either make plans to work on it more or I'll let it go. Or like I was talking with my friend on my walk when we were talking about all ideas, and I discovered she is also a manifesting generator. You can put it on your someday maybe list. I talked about that back in, I don't know what episode, the one I talked about ideas. So I've talked about this before. If you want to understand more about the someday maybe list, I will link to that episode in the notes for you. So I may just put it on that list and let it sit even longer and not feel like I have to monetize it or do anything with. In fact, I love it when ideas come to me. It feels like I've been like touched by a magic wand or sprinkled with fairy dust or something. It's like really energizing. So, so fun. So, go to that episode if you want to hear more of my thoughts about what to do with ideas, because not every idea needs to make money or needs like some sort of platform. Some need something different. And then after you've let yourself ride the wave a little bit, it's time to discern the difference. So if an idea energizes you, and I talk a lot about energy, okay? If it energizes you and it aligns, so this is what you want to check. Does it contribute to my energy? And does it align with my larger vision? Because what we want is to know the vision that we have, like our true north, and everything that we do aligns to that. So, does your idea align with your larger vision? So, if that is the case, so if it energizes you and it aligns, it's in alignment, that could be a sign that it is ready to be shared or turned into something that creates cash. But, and notice the feeling here. Okay. So this is the discernment, right? One side feels lighter and aligned, the other side, the opposite. If it feels forced or tight or heavy, you either don't want to do it or it might just still be incubating. In fact, sometimes I feel in confusion, like, oh, I don't know what to do with that yet. That's just the idea and then incubation time. It might not be ready to be acted upon or created into something that makes money. So I love talking about that because that's where our intuition comes in, and how we want to use our intuition is once we have noticed, and instead of like acting straight on it, we're conscious that we're holding this new idea. So I'm just going to kind of repeat these steps. You notice, once you've noticed that and you see yourself asking the question, should I monetize this? You can ask a different question. Why is this idea here? Is this idea here to be shared, explored, monetized, or something else? And then let it sit, like let it percolate, let it steep like great tea. I love tea. Really let it sit, let it sink in. As you do that, you'll have time to really integrate it. Then this is where the discernment will come in. So you're going to discern the difference. As you sit with it, you'll be able to feel in your body, yes, in your body, like not just like logically, okay, but you'll be able to feel if it feels energizing and if it's in alignment. You may need to ask yourself that question. Okay, but like, yeah, I had this idea, but does it still feel aligned toward my vision? I'm going to suggest if it doesn't, that you don't do it, because another idea will come to you that will be even better and more aligned. That's what I believe. There's no lacking of ideas. Something that's in better alignment will come to you. Okay, so you're gonna notice the difference between the lightness. Yeah, you're gonna discern light or forced, tight, heavy, or if you're in confusion, it's probably not ready, or you're not supposed to do it, or you're not going to do it, or I wouldn't do it. So that is your mini guide to what to do when you get an idea and you're thinking you want to monetize it right away. Really, all of that could just take a few minutes, or you might need to wait a day. It depends on how you work. So, here are some questions that you can reflect on as our time together comes to a close. What's an idea you've been trying to monetize that actually just wants to be for fun? And do you hear the word trying? That's the part where it feels forced and tight, right? Oh, I've been trying. Is there an idea that you've been trying to monetize that just wants to be for fun? Is there a space within you where pressure to produce or to have cash transactions has stolen your, let's say, pleasure to play? Is there a space where pressure has stolen your pleasure to play? Do you love that? I do. And what happens when you create and make whatever for no one but yourself? I actually think that's what a lot of us want to do. We just eventually want cash to come in to support us, right? And how can you tell when an idea wants to go out into the world versus when it wants to just stay with you private? Like, what does that feel like for you in your body? And here's what I want to say is each of those things, that question back at after you notice that the idea has landed. And I said back in the guide where you ask yourself a different question: is this idea here to be shared? See what that feels like in your body when you think about sharing the idea, or just exploring the idea, or monetizing the idea, or something different. Feel how that feels. Because I think our bodies know, like our intuition will tell us. And if not, maybe we wait a little longer and really explore it and consider it. Maybe you journal about it. Ultimately, we do want to monetize something, whether it's hours, whether it's trading art for cash, specific services. I don't usually trade hours for coaching. You're trading money for what I help you create. Like, I'm having ideas all the time, like I said before, and I don't need to make all of them into something that creates cash. Like, sometimes I'm just exploring an idea for the fun of it. I hope this episode was that spark of like rebellion in our world that's like so focused on being productive and making money. I hope this was a little piece of rebellion for you who's just tired of the performance and the productivity. And if you have been feeling that creative sparkle fade a little bit under that, remember, internalized pressure to make every idea be productive in some way, like, you're not alone. I've done it. So many people around you have done it. It's okay. This is the perfect moment right now to take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, release the pressure, recalibrate, and return to sometimes creating for fun, like how you played when you were a kid. It's not that we do this all the time, but playing is part of productivity. And last, I'll say this: if needing, and I said that on purpose, if needing to monetize all your ideas is sucking the life out of your own creative work, my 30-day Focus and Flow program is designed to help you reconnect to what actually feels energizing and aligned. So, a brief overview of this is I send you my AI energy audit tool. It is awesome. It will help you see what is draining your energy and what is energizing to you. And then we coach via Voxer. That's just a chat app for 30 days. And the results I'm seeing with it are super cool. Even in the first couple of days of doing this, it is, I'm going to say, transformational. It is awesome work. So I'm inviting you to come join me for 30 days of recalibrating your personal energy so your creative work can flow more easily. All right. So go monetize your ideas if you want to, but if you don't, that's okay too. Chat with you next time. Bye.